1977, then President Jimmy Carter issued this statement. He said, "Elvis Presley's death deprives our country of a part of itself. He was unique and irreplaceable. His music and his personality fused the styles of white country and black rhythm and blues, permanently changing the face of American popular culture. Elvis Presley was a symbol to people the world over of the vitality, rebelliousness, and good humor of his country." What do you do when you find that the preservation of a legacy, the protection of the legacy of an artist like Elvis Presley, and there's never been another artist like Elvis Presley, and there wasn't before, what do you do when you find that that responsibility falls to you? The first order of business, as you heard, was to do something for the Presley estate, to save the Presley estate and to save the mansion itself. And that feasibility study, that said that Elvis Presley's Graceland wouldn't be a part of the future of Memphis. And then even when they were opening the door, the first day that they opened the door for tours, some of the reporters were asking Jack, what do you do when interest in Graceland and Elvis Presley fades? What do you do with Graceland then? What will you do with Graceland when the fans age out or simply die off? And that sort of set the tone, and it set the task for what was ahead. And what Jack had to do then with all of his team at Graceland, and they're all wonderful people, they had to set about making sure that they created an experience that would continue to improve and expand and be something to be proud of and something that would represent the king of rock and roll, so that they could continue to prove that he was relevant to future generations. They've certainly done that. But Jack didn't just take the reins as CEO there. Jack became part of the Presley family. And I can assure you this, that the Presleys have never had a better friend and family member than Jack Soden, I promise you that. From a business standpoint, from my own angle, I've worked on a number of projects, music and entertainment projects with Jack. And I can tell you, I've never worked with anybody that has more integrity than that man, and it's the truth. But I also can tell you that he may be the most reasonable man that I've ever dealt with on anything. Now, when I say reasonable, that's not a very musical word or a very sexy word, But we all work in a business that can absolutely be unreasonable. And not only is the music business unreasonable, Jack's had to deal with unreasonable pretty often. But there is no greater value than to have somebody that is that reasonable when you're talking about protecting and extending the legacy of the king of rock and roll. You need somebody that knows how to do that reasonably. And he does. Anytime I've had a problem or a situation or something that we're working on for a project, Jack's the most reasonable guy that you can go to and talk to. But I can tell you this on a personal note also, I can say he is one of the kindest people I have ever met. And I'm very, very honored. You can go ahead and applaud for that. I'm very, very honored that for a long time I've been able to call Jack friend, and it's one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to do that. Folks, when it comes to the history of recorded music, the history of making records, there is not a city on the planet that is more important than Memphis, Tennessee. And a big part of that importance is the home and stomping grounds of Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. And as we move forward, reminding the world that this is where it all started, and that this is where it's going to continue to come from. We have to honor that history, and we have to have somebody in charge of doing that. And I can tell you, Jack Soden has dedicated now the better part of his entire life continuing to make sure that the continued appreciation for Elvis Presley and what he did as an artist and who he was as a man, Jack has spent the better part of his life making sure that happens. And having said that, it is my honor to present the newest inductee of the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, my friend, Mr. Jack Soden.